Konnichiwa, Japan fans. In today's show, we are going to talk about a very important subject around first impressions in sales. Now, we know that's important in the face-to-face context. It gets very tricky in the online situation with a client you don't know. That's what we're going to cover today. Eigyo desu. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. This is the Sales Japan Series podcast. We are broadcasting around the world from the Beverly Hills of Japan, Minato-ku here in downtown Tokyo. It is chic central. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, your corporate coaching and training guide committed to your success, the president of Dale Carnegie Training Japan and the best-selling author of Japan, Sales Mastery and Japan Business Mastery. In this podcast, I want to help you to survive COVID-19. If you have feedback on the show, then we'd love to hear about it. And thank you to everyone who did get back to me. Last week I mentioned, we're at 200 episodes. Give me some feedback, things you want me to talk about, how you think the show's going. So I appreciate people who reached out to me and letting me know and encouraging me to keep going with the show. So thank you. We will do that. Now, don't forget, we are looking for you to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. Okay, so here's our daily lineup on iTunes. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, we have the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, I have the Business Atachijin no Oshie program. Wednesdays, we have the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, we have the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, we have the Business Pro podcast program. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery show. And Saturdays, we have Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 201, and today we're talking about virtual selling, how to master the first impression online. We now sell in the age of distraction and the era of cynicism. When the client is talking to us online, they can be so easily distracted and can be secretly multitasking in the background, not paying any attention to what we are saying. There has always been a lot of client skepticism about salespeople claims, but with the fake news catchphrase being tossed around with wild abandon, buyer cynicism is being added to rather than diminished. So, for our first impression, when we come online to meet the client for the first time, it is critical to grab, keep, and deepen their attention. How do we do that? When the meeting starts, I will assume you have the proper logistics in place. The camera lens on your laptop is slightly above eye line height, that the lighting is such that you are easy to see, and that you're wearing a headset with a microphone attachment to compensate for the poor quality audio these online platforms provide. Naturally, you are sitting up straight, leaning in about 15 degrees rather than slumped back in your chair. Please, please, please do not open with, "How are you today?" This type of fake interest in the buyer's well-being has zero impact and makes you sound like those sleazy telephone sales dogs calling buyers at weird hours trying to sell them weird stuff. Start with some appreciation instead and say something intelligent and meaningful like, "COVID-19 has really added a lot of stress to everyone's workloads. So let me begin by thanking you for making time to speak with me today." That is a highly credible opening statement that shows we are all in this together, you understand their world, and you are appreciative of them. You continue by adding value. The object of my call today is to understand whether the results we've been able to achieve for other clients are also possible for your firm. I have no idea if that will be the case or not, but I am keen to see if we can be of some meaningful assistance to you. We're telling them we have a track record of getting results. We are not going to be pushy salespeople. And we are focusing on helping them rather than helping ourselves. When we bridge into the agenda for the call, depending on the situation, we may have sent the agenda ahead of the meeting, or we may be pulling it up on screen at the start of the meeting. You don't ask for a yes or no. And as you're doing it, you just say, please allow me to bring up the agenda for our call today so that we can make the most efficient use of our time together. We're being assumptive about using an agenda, and we are telling them we're not here to waste their valuable time. Find out more when we come back from the break. The show today is brought to you by our public courses, but we are also doing custom in-house programs as well. We do these in English, we do them in Japanese, we do them online, and we do them in our super safe classroom. Today's show is sponsored by our virtual selling program preview that's coming up on the 8th of September. On the 11th of September, we have Managing Stress, and on the 14th of September, we have Successful Public Speaking. Now, get serious about selling in Japan. Buy my book, the bestseller, Japan Sales Mastery. This is the Bible for selling in Japan. You can get it on Amazon. And also, my other book on Amazon, if you want to master business in Japan, that's cunningly called Japan Business Mastery. Get that on Amazon too. Don't forget, regarding the courses or any of the things we're doing, go to our website, enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, you're a visual learner, then we've got over 1,000 videos for you there at Japan Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. In fact, we're releasing 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. We've got the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, the premier business show in Japan. That comes out every Monday. Fridays, we have the Japan Business Mastery Show. And Saturdays, we release Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders from small and medium enterprises all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on the topic of leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget, you can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. The first item on the agenda should crystallize the strategic value of the meeting, establishing why this call is going to be helpful and not a waste of their time. The purpose of our meeting is to discuss your goal for building revenues as quickly as possible, given the disruptions to the market because of COVID-19. We next go into an overview of the agenda. Things are changing fast. So let's start with a review of the current situation, then discuss your goals and how this fits in to your overall strategy, and then together look at some next steps if that in fact makes sense. We are referencing change as taking place, hinting that whatever they were doing before may not be what they need to be doing now, and here we are to help them make that adjustment. We want to understand their needs in the context of the direction for the firm so that we can tailor what we have in our solutions to match that direction. Finally, we mentioned the solution creation will be a joint effort where they will have some ownership of the crafting. Again, we underline, we are not going to be pushing any square pegs into round holes here. To show this as a joint effort, we then ask, what else would you like to add to the agenda? This is a very critical step because they will probably have something very specific in mind, which will take us quickly beyond the generalities we've been mentioning. Once they've added to or accepted the existing agenda, we have tacit approval to dive into asking them about their current situation. Thank you. So let me begin by asking you for an update on where are the problem areas and barriers you are facing at the moment. We are now off to the races with our questions. If we have a Japanese buyer in front of us, we should add an extra step and get permission to ask questions. Thank you for helping with the agenda. I'm not sure if we have what you need, but in order for me to understand if that is the case or not, would you mind if I ask you a few questions? In Japan, this is important because every buyer has been trained to receive a pitch from the salesperson. So being asked questions by lowly salespeople can seem a bit uppity and rude to buyers. How we start has a huge impact on how we finish. So mastering the first impression in the online sale is a make it or break it deciding point. We have to handle this initial part of the meeting smoothly and professionally. Remember, we have never met, and they are scanning the screen constantly, trying to understand if they can trust us or not. That answer has to be a yes, and that is only the case because we made it happen that way through a properly planned first engagement with the buyer. Thank you for joining the Sales Japan series. If you found the program useful, then please work on your karma. Share this with your family, friends, colleagues, countrymen. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast on iTunes. Remember, apply what you've learned today and survive COVID-19. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guide committed to your success here in Nippon.